Hello guys, welcome to the channel A to Z Tech. In this video, I will explain you Async await feature which was added in .NET 4.5. At the end, I will show you step-by-step code to implement in Xamarin Forms application. So let's start the concept first. Async await provides a way to write asynchronous code in .NET. With the help of this one, you can write asynchronous code. You can do asynchronous programming very easily in .NET technology. It marks a position in the code from where the code resumes when task completed. It means when you are hitting a function you are hitting a function that will take longer time. For example, if a function is to calculate tax and that calculate tax taking 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get executed, then the calling function need not to wait for the completion of the execution of the calculate tax function, and the control of the program will move further and will not wait for the completion of the execution of the function that is being called. And when that particular execution will completed, then we will get the result from that function. So here, asynchronous code means you are calling the function and you are not waiting to get result from that particular function, and await allows you to for that particular function to wait for the result. So let's see further detail. Now here is an example. Suppose that there is a main function, and in that main function you have taken couple of functions, you have called couple of functions. So out of these functions, suppose that these all functions are normal functions. This takes very less time to execute, this takes very less time to execute, this takes very less time to execute, but this is the only function that will take lot of time to execute. For example, if it will take 10 minutes to execute, example, it takes 10 minutes to execute, then your main method will have to wait for 10 minutes for this particular function only. In a lot of cases, these two functions that further need to execute after this particular function are not dependent on this method. So in that case, these two functions need not to wait for the result of load annual transaction function. So in that case, we can call this load annual transaction function in asynchronous mode. We can call this in asynchronous mode, and we can move our control for further execution for load header and load user preferences function. And when this load annual transaction completes its execution, then we get the result. So in this way we will not freeze the UI, because the example that I have shown over here, the UI will get freeze. UI means the where we are going to show the result, whether it is a Xamarin application, that is it's a desktop application, or it's a web application. In any application, what will happen is that just because of this load annual transaction function, our UI will get freeze. So definitely we will not like to freeze our UI. So just to avoid freezing of the UI, we can call the load animal transaction in asynchronous mode, so that we need not to wait for the result of the load animal transaction to show the result of the method that we got the result in the UI. So this now so this is the example that I have shown for the asynchronous mode. So I will show you further a very good example, very small example, but appropriate example in a .NET technology, and for us with the help of Xamarin application. So let's see that. So here I am starting one application for Xamarin application, async await sample, and I have chosen this one, create. Here, I am taking just Android application only, just to make these things faster. Okay, and we can choose blank application, and we can choose OK over here. Now you can see that the application is loaded, the one that I have completed, and this one is example, this one is the common application, and this one is the Android application. So here, first of all, I will explain you the example that I am going to take so that you will have the idea. I will just take a grid, and this simple example, I will take just two columns in that grid, name and roll number, and I will take the data for this particular one. Okay, and I can name this grid as a student detail, right? This one is a student detail. So here name and roll number are header, but here there may be too many number of students. So idea is that this header to be shown, this header to be shown, even if we have not received the data from this for this particular grade. If we have not received the data from this particular grade, even suppose that this data loading for this data takes 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then we should not wait to show the name and roll number for this particular data. That is the thing that we can achieve with the help of async await feature. So let's see. Now let's create one service class. This is a service class, and the service class will just return the data for this particular example. So we will create one function over here. We will create one function over here that will give the data. Okay. So list of, first of all, we have to create the model for the data. So we can take here class student, and we can take in the class student. Now you can see that I have taken the model student over here, and next thing that we need to do is that we need to create one function. Okay, we need to create one function that will get all students. We can create this one, get all students, and in that one we will just create the. Now here you can say that you can see that we are getting one error that we are not getting any value, and we have to give return value of the list student type. So basically we have to give return over here, return std over here. Okay, so our example is correct now, right? So we have created one model, we have created one function that will give the result of the data of that particular model. So now we will create one view model. We will create one view model, add new item class, and here we will write one main VM. We will give that particular name, and we need to click on add over here. Okay, now we need to make one constructor for this one, and what else that we need to do is that we will create one property for list of student. List of student, we will create one property list of student, and this property name can be lst student. And here what we'll be doing is that we will create one we will create one object of the service, obj service we can write, and is equal to new obj service, Okay, now what we can do is that we just need to call this one method of this one, that is the now see, you can see that the get student is not visible. What is the reason behind it? Because this one is the private. Okay, so we need to make it as a public. So we have made it public, and now it can be accessible over here. So now we can click on get, and you can see that get all student, we got it, and we got the result. Okay, now we get the result from the service in the view model, and we have to assign this result to the LST student. LST is student. Okay, okay, you got it. And now I will be utilizing the existing main page.xaml to show the result from the view model. So I will just click on this one, and now we got this one, right? And now here, first of all, I will be using this one, CLR minus name space name space colon async await sample, async await sample. Okay, so here basically what we have given, we have given the namespace for the view model so that we can use that particular view model. And now what we have to do is that we need to bind that particular content page dot binding context. We have to bind that particular view model VM main page, VM main VM. So now we have done that. Okay, so we have binded that particular view model to this particular XAML page, content page. Okay, so now what we will be doing is that we will be showing the data over we will be showing the grid over here. We will be showing the header, we will be showing the title, and we will be showing the data from the service, right? Now you can see the XAML what exactly I have taken over here. So this one basically it will show that we have taken one stack layout, and inside that particular stack layout I have taken one title. Here I will show one label, so that will show the title for the async await test. Okay, this will show as a title for this particular Xamarin application, because we are going to show cd async await test. And this is basically heading of the grid. So this, there are two columns I have taken over here, and the third one is that this is basically name and roll number column. So here I have defined these two columns of the grid. And collection view, I think you are already aware of. If you have any problem, then you can write in the if you can write in the comment, and I can prepare the video for the collection view, a different video. So this one is collection view. A collection view basically it has to show the collection of the data on the grid. So any data that collection data you can show in the grid in different type of format that we can take over here. So here we have bind, but you can remember that I had taken LST student, I think so, right? So here this one is LST student, so it should not be LST students, it should be LST student, because it should have the same name that we have provided the property in the when view model. And this one name and roll number that we had taken, you can remember that we had taken this two one in the model, right? So we have binded the roll number and name over here. And the next thing that we have created this one, and next thing that's just we need to execute, I think so, this one, and we will see the result. Now guys, it is being loading and it's taking some time. Now it's started. initializing, and now you got the result, right? You got the result, but one thing that you saw is that here everything got loaded together, and in fact this one was a very small, one, only three data over here, and that was pretty much faster, so we could not realize any difference, right? So we will do something that we can realize the difference, right? Now the first thing that we need to do is that we need to make this one pretty slower so that we can realize what exactly the problem is. So in order to analyze the problem, we need to first put here thread dot uh, sleep, thread dot sleep over here, and we can give the longer time like 6,000 minutes, so that sorry, 6,000 value over here we can provide, so that we can realize the difference. Okay, and here we need to take the namespace for this, that is the system dot thread namespace. We need to take this one. Okay, and since we have made changes in the C sharp, so we need to execute it once again. So just click on the execute and click it and execute it once again. Now it's starting loading. Now you can see that this is trying to load, and since it's taking longer, so it will take longer time to get loaded, right? It is connected, but even then it's taking some time to execute because we have taken here 6,000. So you can see here that since the data, this is the data for the grid take longer time to execute, so the whole thing got executed when the data got loaded, right? So ideally what exactly we want is that this title, this name roll number column should get shown on the grid, and the data, when the data get loaded, when the data finishes its execution, when the data is fetched, then the data got loaded, right? So we will see this how we can achieve this. Okay, so for that one, first thing that we need to do is that we need to make it asynchronous. So what we need to do is that async, okay, and task, and this one here, and we will take as a task over here asynchronous task. Okay, and this is giving some error because you have to take async threading dot task name space, and you need to stop it first. And what we have to do over here is that we have to use await, await with s. Now task dot from result, and this one. Okay, hello, you able to resolve it. You can get it in the synchronous mode, and it will wait till it will not get the result from here. And what next we have to do is that we will be looking into this. Now see, this got error. You are getting error here, right? You are getting error here. Why you are getting error here is that because we have defined here as a task, and here we are calling it as a normal function, right? So what exactly we need to do over here? We need to define here as an asynchronous function. We have to call it as an asynchronous. So we have to remove this, and here task dot, now you are getting error here, so task dot run, right, async, right, and here you will be using semicolon. Okay, and what exactly you need to do here, you need to get the namespace, right? And what else you need to do, sorry, I forgot to put here parenthesis. And what else we need to do here is that we need to lst student is equal to, we need to take obj service dot get all student. And but next we will be doing here is that we are getting some error over here, right? So we need to put here await, right? So since it was in a sync await we had used in the service, so when we will be calling here, so we can call with the help of task.run only, right? So now we can see how it gets shown on the grid, right? Because we have called this one is in asynchronous mode, right? Now you can see that this one is being loading. Now you can see that you got the header, you got the title, but you're not getting the data. You're not getting the data. This data needs to execute after a few time, but it's not getting loaded, right? There is a problem over here. So we'll first fixing this problem, right? So why that problem was occurring? Because when the data was getting loaded, when the data was getting loaded after some time to some time from the service, then what was happened is that this model, this sorry not model, this was this property was not getting affected. Why it was not getting affected? Because it was not being notified. So here we will have to use INotify property change, right? So here in this class, first of all, I have to INotify property changed. We need to take it INotify property changed, and what we need to do is that we need to get the namespace for this one. No, we got it, right? I know, but here we are getting some error. Why? Because we have to implement this particular interface. Okay, then we have to implement this interface. It is always better to take it in the top right. uh, okay, so we have taken the property change event handler and see what next we need to do. Then we have to define this one, right? Because what will happen after property got changed, so we have to then this one on property change even. Okay, and using system dot runtime dot compiler service, right? We have to take that particular namespace. And here we have taken this one LST students, and we need to make some changes over here. Like that we have to call the on property change. When we will be calling the on property change? Whenever we will be setting the value of the from the service, right, for the data. So what we need to do is that first of all we need to make it here a private property. So we can do here like uh, list of a student, right? List of a student, and we can take mm, we can we can take uh, we can take better lst student. Okay, and is equal to new list of a student, right? So we have taken one property over sorry, one private property over here, private data over here, and now we need to make some changes over here, so better to omit it. And now what we need to do is that we need to return underscore lst student. And what else we need to do is here we need to make set. What set we need to do is there underscore lst student is equal to value. And what else we need to do is we need to call it on property change. If we will not be calling the on property change, then we will not get the effect on the UI, right? Because if you calling the list from property change, then only the changes that was happened by the service will get affected on the property, and then that property is going to bind on the UI, so that will get affected. Okay, so now we will execute it and we will see the result. Now you can see that you got the heading but you have not got the data. but you got the data after some time when the data is got received from this service, right? But there is a problem, when the list got shown, and the title got shown but the data was not coming, so it may reflect to someone that there is some problem, and the person will got execute, the person will got confused whether something is happening in behind or not, whether it is executing state or not. So just to avoid that confusion, we need to show one loader. We need to show one loader till the time it not got the result from the service. So how we will see how we can show the loader. So in order to show the loader, we need to first stop it over here and we will see how we can show the loader. In order to show the loader, what we can do is that we need to just take uh, boolean type. We can it is always better to take it underscore right bool loader, we can take it right. And what else we need to do is here we need to make one public property that we can bind with the with the UI. So we can take here loader, and here you can take as boolean. And what we need to do is here we need to uh, so ideally you can take it like this, and here you can return underscore loader. And what else you need to do is here you need to set it right. And in the setter, what you have to do is you need just to get the value from here, you have to get the value right. And what exactly you just need to do here, you need to always call on property changed, because when you will stop the loader, so now get the things here, that when you will suppose that when something gets executed, then then the loader got false, but that false value need to get affected on the UI as well. The loader should get stopped. So in that case, you need to call this on property change event, right? So now we have done this, and now whatever we have done on the view model, right? We have done view model. One thing more that we need to do is that is very important, and that is the thing that we need to provide here. Sorry, we need to provide here the loader is equal to here we need to true, because from here the execution got started, and when it got the result, then what should happen is that loader should got false, right? Loader should got false. So this is the thing that we have done here. This is the thing that we have done here in the view model. But something that we need to do is here, because in the UI we have to take something for the loader to show to show on the UI whether it is being loaded. So we will now see what next we need to do is that you can see here this was the collection view, and here we can what we have taken activity indicator. Activity indicator is the control for the loader. We need to make it is enabled, and we need to show here the position where exactly we want to show here, right? So, and the second thing is that the loader is running, we should be in the running state, but it should not be in the in always the running state. That's the only reason I have created one property for the loader, and that property we are binding over here. And when it is stopped, then it should not visible at all. That's the only reason I have binded the same thing with the uh, visible as well, right? You can define the color for the loader as well. So color, you can show any color like that, whatever the color you like, right? Suppose that if you want is blue or dark blue, then you can show here the dark blue, right? So now I will execute it and I will try to show. Now you can see that it's trying to load, and now you can see that the data is not coming till now. So now it's got it. Okay. So you can see over here is that with the help of async await, what we achieve is that we can show the data for which the result has been received from the service, and the data when received from the service, then it got shown on the UI, and UI doesn't got blocked due to the data uh, uh, from the service, and we can show the loader till the time that the data has not been received from the service. So this example was just for the async await, and this is a very important feature for the Xamarin as well as other .NET applications as well. I think you understand the concept, and if you have any issue and if you have any suggestion, then you can provide in the comment section. I will provide this example in the GitHub, and I will provide the a link for the GitHub as well with the in the video. Okay, thanks a lot for watching.